Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I've got a video for you about the Xbox Project Scorpio. I'm sure that many of you saw the tech specs that were revealed a couple of days ago, and you've also probably seen the teasers and the rumors and all the little things that Microsoft has been doing to build up hype pre-E3, and I gotta let you know, it's working on me. It's something that I legitimately want to play at E3, and you can too, because this year E3 is going to be open to the public. Got a lot to talk about today, because I think the Scorpio may actually be the way forward for consoles of the future. Going to talk about the specs, the games, VR, AR, HoloLens, a lot of different stuff. But the gameplay I'm playing right now is on PlayStation 4, actually a little bit of Black Ops 3, which I still think is one of the better Call of Duty games ever made, if not up there in that best category, right up there closer to MW2 and BO2. When you get into a lobby that's got a decent connection and the game runs at a full 60 FPS like it did on launch and not when we started adding DLC, it is so fun to play. But let's talk about the Xbox One Scorpio and about me in particular. Most of you know that I play primarily on the PlayStation 4 and that I have taken no small amount of deuces all over the Xbox One to the point where I unplugged it and don't play it. And you're going to say, okay, here comes this unreliable Drifter flip-flopper again with no brand loyalty, must be getting paid or something. I wish they would pay me exclusively to play on PS4 or Xbox or whatever. That'd be nice, but that's not true. I've always sided with the better technology, and technologies and competition means that things are always changing. When it came to PlayStation 3 versus Xbox 360, I went with the Xbox 360 because I felt that the software was significantly better. The hardware wasn't anywhere close to being as good as the PlayStation 4, PlayStation 3. PS3 clobbered it in hardware, but the way Microsoft did their online and their friends list, and they were the first with Netflix and these sort of integrations, made it a great console. And I hoped that even with inferior hardware again, the Xbox One would be just as great, that Microsoft software would come in and save it and make it awesome and user-friendly and a great community. And yeah, that just kind of didn't happen. It just drove me crazy, hundreds of frustrations with it. So eventually I just moved over to the much simpler and better PlayStation 4 during Advanced Warfare, and I haven't really looked back. I thought about getting the PlayStation 4 Pro, but it wasn't really that appealing. It was very expensive for a small upgrade, and it didn't really help the VR that much, so it was kind of a flop. But the Scorpio is starting to look very good to me, and the philosophy behind it seems to be a complete 180 on the Xbox One's entertainment system philosophy, or the advanced Netflix and Kinect box. Hardware-wise, Project Scorpio is going to be about 15, maybe 20 to 25% faster, better, stronger, smarter than the PlayStation 4 Pro, which in this case typically means less loading time and better graphics. It is way better than the original Xbox One. I think I saw the different sites will break this down and crunch the numbers differently. I've seen all the way up to like 4 or 5 times better, which seems a little bit crazy, and it is significantly better than the Xbox One S. Hardware-wise, as far as I can tell, it's going to run like a medium-end gaming PC with a GTX 1070 in it. It does have some advantages over gaming PCs in that it doesn't have to load your operating system or do background things, and in that it is simpler, it could theoretically perform a little better than a medium-end. We might go medium-high. I don't want to say anywhere close to a high-end gaming PC because those get crazy, and as soon as I do, this like neckbeard army will come in and throw their keyboards at me and just hammer this like, you don't understand hardware at all. Like, it's not going to be a high-end gaming PC, but it is going to be a nice upgrade from what you've already got if you've got a PS4 or an Xbox One at the moment. Their big selling point, what they're really hyping on, and I think it's kind of a dangerous gambit, is that all of the games will run natively at 4K. We're not talking upscaling here, we're not talking post-scaling, because I think some have like a post-scaling chip. We're not talking 4K 25 FPS, we're not talking like the some of the PS4 games can do 4K if you toggle different options on and off and do strange things with it, but that pretty much every game is going to run at a native 4K 60 FPS. It's not going to drop, it's not going to chug, it's not going to cry, it's just going to run and it's going to work. And I think that's great, but at the same time, it's kind of dangerous because not a lot of people have 4K TVs. Matter of fact, most people I know do not have 4K TVs, and most people that I know couldn't really see the difference between 4K and 1080p, or even explain the difference for that matter. But things are definitely going that way. Most new TVs are advertising 4K is the big thing, high frame rate is the big thing, 1080p is becoming sort of the dinosaur of standards at the moment, and I do think that eventually most devices and stuff will be running 4K. I like 1080p for YouTube reasons because it's easier to capture, render, handle file sizes. They're not like these ridiculously huge files on the internet, so I might still be doing 1080p gaming for a long time on YouTube, but I'm going to try to do the 4K stuff if my internet can handle it. But I think that TVs and consumer electronics are going to end up in 4K eventually. But as we hit diminishing returns, as the pixels get smaller than the eyes can see, eventually that's going to stop and we're going to have to do something else. I think it's going to stop at 8 or 16K. I think people probably push forward past 4K a little bit, but then after a bit, they're going to kind of stop. But graphically speaking, everything's going to be a beautiful 4K. That does mean, in an interesting way though, if a game developer so chose to do so, they could do even crazier stuff graphically speaking at 1080p 60 if they wanted to kind of scale it down a little bit. Or you could have the option, theoretically, to do above 60 FPS if you hooked it up to a PC monitor or a compatible television. But that's not all, folks. There's one thing that's still coming that interests me more than maybe the rest of it, and that's that it's also going to natively support virtual reality and augmented reality gaming sometime just after launch. The date that Microsoft announced is early 2018, and this is my guess that at E3 is going to roll around and they're going to be like, this will be ready in November, just before Christmas, and then just after Christmas is when, you know, you'll get a lot of the new support and stuff. And it sounds kind of like PSVR, but on steroids, or maybe even PSVR Pro on steroids. And mind you, PSVR, PlayStation VR, is the only one that I have right now, even though I've played pretty much all of them at some point. And I do think that VR is ultimately the future of the gaming, even if the games aren't quite there yet. Once you've tried it, almost everybody really enjoys this. It definitely looks hokey and bad graphics and strange on YouTube, but when you do it in person, it's actually quite fun. Now, PlayStation VR, I do think is quite fun, and even though I haven't posted it as much, I do think it's quite good. The downside being that Sony had these kind of huge bounties for lots of launch games. They wanted like something crazy, like 20 to 30 or 40 like PSVR launch games, and what we got was like 3 good ones and some forgettable ones, and then kind of shovelware. And support has kind of been mixed since then. There have been a few really awesome PSVR games and a bunch of really bad ones. So I hope that Microsoft doesn't go that route, because your platform, whatever technology it is, can only be as good as the games. But of note, it's rumored to support HoloLens, or maybe connect to broadcast on the screen, some sort of alternate reality for people to watch. And by AR, or augmented reality, that can be a lot of different things. If you've seen the games where you buy one of the drones at Walmart, Target, Fry's, whatever, and the drone has a camera on it, and you hook it up and you fly it around on your phone, but it'll put like these targets in your house. It'll just layer it on, and you shoot them down with your little drone. Or Pokemon Go is augmented reality. I do know that the Oculus and the Vive support that. If you hook it all up, they can track you, and if you can do this on a green screen and layer that green screen in on OBS or something, it will allow you to film yourself in the game. They even did stuff to where it'll show your face on top of the VR headset and lots of interesting things. So alternate realities a go. The Microsoft HoloLens is looking awesome, by the way, just like for research and modeling, and it broadcasts, like everybody can see it. The HoloLens is there and it's real and it's looking really fun. And I think this has all sorts of potential for gaming. So I know a lot of people say Pokemon Go was a failure and a bad game, but I have never in my life seen a game to where when the servers crash, people come back inside. I've never seen hundreds of people in a park chasing imaginary monsters. And these are the sort of things that Microsoft could be doing with the Project Scorpio, and I think that's the future of gaming. The future might not be here yet today, ready to go, but somebody has to pave the way, somebody has to make it happen, and all the companies are kind of moving that way. But there are some downsides, definitely. No, it's not a super high-end gaming TV. No, you're not really going to get your money's worth out of it if you don't have a 4K TV or want to do the VR thing. And let's be honest, it's Microsoft. I've had some more than a few frustrations with them in the last couple of years. Their choices with the Xbox One is what pushed me away from their platform. And I know that it has improved significantly from launch, but I will still say that the launch Xbox One, maybe even a year to year and a half into Xbox One being launched, is one of the worst gaming consoles ever made. It was unintuitive, it was slow, it had the DRM thing that they scaled back on, kinda sorta, the forced connect, the convoluted friends list, all that sort of stuff pushed me away. And even though they've patched it and fixed it, oh yeah, proprietary headset plugs, all that sort of stuff, it's pushed me away. And even though they fixed it, I haven't been able to come back yet. And you can look at like Windows 8 and then skipping 9 and going to 10 and forced upgrades and all these sort of crazy things. I don't want this awesome project to be killed by corporate groupthink. I want it to survive and thrive and do well. I want, even though I'm on PlayStation now, I want more competition, because more competition is always better for the consumer, and we're just going to have to wait and see how this pans out. Hopefully it turns out well. I might actually swap back if it's good, because I'm just going to go where the good technology is. I'm not like a brand loyal sort of guy. And if you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.